What's up, YouTube? So on First Take, they're talking to Christian McCaffrey. He is the running back for the Carolina Panthers. So they're going to talk to him about everything that went on with their season, why they missed the playoffs, everything that is going on with Cam Newton and his injury. So let's just listen in and hear what they have to say.
Was it really about Cam Newton getting hurt against the Pittsburgh Steelers when T.J. Watt hit him and y'all were never the same? Or was there something else going on that derailed y'all prospects?
Well, I think when you talk about football, I think individuals get way too much blame and way too much credit.
Okay.
And I think it's the most team game in the world. There's 22 moving parts, on the field at once. And as much as you would like to say that it was this one thing or this one thing, when you go back and look at the tape, there's 1,000 different things that if they went one way or the other, we're in every single football game. Rarely do you.
Christian McCaffrey is completely right about that. There are a million different things throughout the game. If this would happen or that would happen, could have changed the outcome of the game. So really blaming one play here or there doesn't really mean too much when there's thousands of other little plays or little things that could happen here or there that could have changed the outcome of a game. Looking at the New Orleans Saints bad call, that right there looks bad, but again, there are probably 1,000 other little things that they would have gone this way or that way would have changed the outcome of the New Orleans Saints game, like blowing a 13-0 lead, throwing interceptions in overtime by Drew Brees, just a bunch of little different things that, if they go one way or the other, could change the outcome of the game. And also on another note, what Christian McCaffrey was saying, one or two players do get a lot of credit, but when you have your star player, which would be Cam Newton, a quarterback, if he gets hurt, it is a big difference. It is a big deal. So let's just continue here. What more Christian McCaffrey has to say.
See teams get blown out maybe a couple times a year. Each team has a fallout here or there, but we're within 6 points of 5 or 6 games in that season where it had nothing to do with Cam's shoulder, where if this happened, if I made a play here, someone else made a play there, we win the football game. And that just kind of goes to show you how tough it is to win in this league, and it really is any given Sunday league.
Yep, but obviously Cam did just have the shoulder surgery. How concerned are you about his health to start the season off?
I'm not concerned. I think he's a heck of a warrior. I mean, you watch all the stuff he does, diving for the pylon. I've seen him deeply.
There should be some cause for concern. Cam Newton is a big guy. He's like, 6'6", 240, 250. So he's damn near as big as a tight end or even an offensive lineman. So he's got a lot of beef up there in his shoulders. But just being a quarterback in general, you use your arms, you use your upper body. So having that be injured doesn't help. McCaffrey probably knows that he's a big dog and that more of his condition than the people on the outside do. So he probably knows more about his condition than we do. So let's continue more what we have to say, what he has to say.
Safeties for throwing out blocks for guys on reverses, stuff like that. When you see that, he's got the warrior mentality that you want in a quarterback, and he's an extremely hard worker. So watching him, I know he's going to do everything he can to come back.
I respect his work ethic, his warrior mentality, his level of production over the years. But when you are that valuable, does it not reach a point where we now have to start questioning wisdom? In other words, because those are some big boys out there that y'all going up against. Even though Cam Newton's a big boy walking around like 250, does he really need to be taking those hits and inviting them when he's the quarterback?
He really doesn't need to be inviting those type of hits because, there's headhunters out there. There's killers out there that will tear your head off. Linebackers, DBs, they're going to come in at full speed and try to make a name off Cam Newton. And also, he's a quarterback. You can't, if he goes down, that could mean the difference between a season and not. He can't take those hits, and eventually those hits are going to start to add up. And if he wants to preserve his career to be playing in his 40s and be productive like Tom Brady, he needs to take notes from the Tom Brady camp and how to self-preserve. Cam Newton's in his prime right now, pretty much. He needs to preserve himself so he can be making it until the 41, 42 and try to play until his deep 40s or mid 40s like Tom Brady is. And taking those type of hits, he's got nothing to prove. Let's hear what more they have to say.
Back of the franchise.
Well, I tell you what, I think like you said, you respect his production. I think that's what has made him produce, is that mentality to go for the pile. And I thought, when it comes to competitors and certain guys, I love watching UFC fighters, and some of these guys have the fight won, but you'll see them in the last 10 seconds brawl. And they're risking getting knocked out. And I think that's just kind of that mentality of I'm in this because I love the game, and I'm in this because I enjoy playing football, and part of that second level stuff. Now, I would personally like him to not take as many hits. Yeah, absolutely. But I just don't think, it's kind of in that fighting spirit that you want to continue moving. You want to throw out blocks. You want to fight for first downs and die for the pylon. So I think that's part of just what makes him him.
Since we're both big UFC fans, who's your favorite UFC fighter?
Oh, man, I got to go with my guy, Justin Gaethje, or Cowboy Cerrone. Those are two Colorado guys.
Oh, Cowboy Cerrone just beat that brother down the other week.
Yep.
Lord have mercy.
And a lot of people counted him out. They said he was too old and he got it down.
That brother that he beat up, I don't even want to say his name because it would be embarrassed. It's the kind of beat down where it's hard to go home to your woman. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, that was a butt whipping right there. That was bad.
So I have no clue in the guys that they're talking about. I'm going to have to check it out to see if that guy got beat down that bad. That's something I'm going to have to definitely go check out. So they got me going over to UFC directly after this.
No, he's a Colorado. Both of them are Colorado guys, so I root for those guys.
I'm a John Bones Jones guy myself. That's just me.
Yes, sir. John Jones all the way, sir. John Jones all the way. He's been taking those winter pills. That's why he tested hot, because he's been taking those gas station winter pills. That's all it is. That man wouldn't cheat. He definitely cheat. And the roids are going to stay in his system for the next 7 years. So don't worry. He might test hot, but hey, it's those gas station dick pills.
That's just me.
He's the real deal. The only person that gets in his way is himself. Which backfield do you think is more important in this game?
Well, I think when you look at New England's backfield, it's tough to stop. I mean, they have a monster in all of them, and they're so unique in what they can do and how they pick apart them. I also think, with LA, obviously I played with CJ for a little bit this season, and to see what Gurley's done, and I think, I don't know what his health situation is, but I know that when he's healthy, he's one of the best that I've seen. So I think they're both extremely important. I think developing a run game against both these defenses is extremely important.
Believe it or not, despite the fact that CJ has played well and Todd Gurley is Todd Gurley, despite rushing for 10 yards on 4 carries in the NFC Championship game, I'm shocked that you didn't jump at pointing out New England from this perspective. It's not just about Sony Michel running the football. James White been catching passes out of the backfield, and there's very few people that does that in the NFL better than you. So I am surprised that you didn't mention that as being.
That is very true. McCaffrey does catch the rock from out of the backfield superbly. He's a beast. He's always been a beast. I remember him tearing it up in Stanford. I mean, I think for one point, I think he was second or third in the running for the Heisman a couple years ago. So, Christian McCaffrey is no joke. And I don't even want to bring up his dad because I want him to be his own man. He's holding it down by himself. So I'm not going to bring up his dad. But if you need be, look up at McCaffrey's. He comes from a great line of football players, and he's his own beast all the way.
A decisive advantage for New England.
Well, that's what I mean when I say monster in all of them. I mean, you got Sony, who obviously has done what he's done. James White, Rex Burkhead, all these different guys. I mean, you watch James White run routes out of the backfield. That's a guy I've studied every single one of his routes, and just to see how he sits in zones and to see how Tom gets rid of the ball like that, every single time. It's almost like I don't want to say easy because it's not, but they've repped it so many times that it looks very repetitive almost. It's fun to watch.
What can Carolina learn from the New England Patriots?
I think we learn a lot. I think, we're obviously we got a really young team right now. We got a lot of unbelievable veterans, but we also have some young guys, like myself who can learn a lot. And I think, we try to pick apart things from every single team. I don't want to say we try to mimic New England, but obviously with the success they've had, there is a lot to mimic. I think the poise under pressure is something that is admirable. When they're down, they don't panic. They stick to the game plan. They stick to the script, and you've seen that work out for them in the past.
I feel like the running back position was devalued for a bit in the league, and that seems like it's no longer the case, and teams are realizing it's still, the ground and pound that gets it done in the end. And there's so many good backs in the league, including yourself. Who do you think is the best right now in the NFL?
Me.
So that should definitely go without saying. Mr. McCaffrey is definitely going to say that he's the best running back. And also, to piggyback off what Molly said, is that the run sets up the pass. So people talk about running backs are becoming obsolete, if you will. But the run always sets up the pass, and the pass sets up the run. So they both complement each other and set each other up. See what more he has to say.
If you had to take yourself out of the equation, if you're not allowed to choose yourself, and I love your confidence, who would you roll with?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many backs.
Give me one, just one.
I think somebody I've watched, and this is a big statement. Obviously, I've seen tape on every single back. I try to pick apart everything. And watching Saquon play has been special. He's a special athlete, so I think he can be in this league for a long time. And just to see what he does, his balance.